Welcome to the Dodger Download, the official podcast of the Fort Dodge Community School District. Each episode brings you the latest updates from our schools, including school board recaps, interviews with educators, staff, and students, plus upcoming events and stories from around the district. Whether you're a parent, student, or community member, stay connected to what's happening in the Dodger Nation. Let's dive into this episode of the Dodger Download.
All right, welcome to Dodger Download, the official podcast of Fort Dodge Community School District. I'm Superintendent Josh Porter, and today we're diving into with our school board members about Fort Dodge Community Schools. Whether you're a parent, student, or a proud Dodger, we're glad you're here. Before we dive in, we want to give a big shout out to Decker Sports, a proud and longtime partner of Fort Dodge Schools. From jerseys to gear, Decker Sports has been supporting our student athletes programs for years, helping our Dodgers look and feel their best on and off the field. Thank you, Decker Sports, for being a dedicated part of our school community. So today on the Dodger Download, we're excited to welcome School Board President Dan Altman and Board Member Molly Nelson, who play a key part in Fort Dodge Community Schools. They will bring a unique perspective to today's conversation about being a school board member, their passion and love for serving our district, and are looking forward to learning more about the experience and insight. Before we dive into today's topics, it's time for board tidbits. Here are a few things for the Fort Dodge Community School Board from the May 27th board meeting. This is School Board Appreciation Month, though, so it's just kind of coincidental, random act. We have our two school board members with us, so we recognize our school board for all their appreciation and hard work. High school students and high school staff made a nice little tribute to our school board members. We had a big curriculum purchase for the business department, so business curriculum has kind of been in the back of the mind for a long time, and this was their turn to get new curriculum. So we purchased some new curriculum last night at the board meeting. The always exciting employee handbook and worker rules for 25-26. So not a whole lot of changes, when things changed a while back. So this is just a formality that we approved last night. And then wind, hail, and damage. So the new thing this year was a resolution for wind, hail, and damage. So districts are a little bit more protected in severe weather cases. So Mr. Hansel presented on that and did a great job. And our list of graduates. So I think we approved 200 and some graduates, 202 roughly last night, but I think in total we have about 230 graduates this year. Some graduate early, some graduate after first or second trimester. So I'm excited to approve that list, and we have graduation on May 31st on Saturday at 7:30. All right, so thanks so much for joining us, Dan and Molly. We get to spend lots of time together, lots of conversations, emails, texts. But why don't you start by telling our listeners just a little bit about yourself and then just your role as a board member before we jump into some questions. So I'll let Molly go. Molly, you're first.
Thanks, Josh. I was born and raised in Fort Dodge, product of Duncombe Elementary School, go Duncombe Dynamites, and then graduated from Fort Dodge Senior High. Then I went to Des Moines, lived in Des Moines for about 20 years, and then moved back to Fort Dodge about 8 years ago. There was a vacancy on the board, and I was asked to fill the seat, and it's been an honor serving the Fort Dodge Community Schools for the last year.
Awesome.
Yeah, and I'm also a product of Fort Dodge, born and raised here. Otho Elementary for me and Josh, actually.
Yep, yes.
What's the Otho mascot?
Otho Indians.
The Otho Indians.
Bring Otho
Okay.
back. That's in the right, but yeah, just excited to be here. Excited to work for the community that I was raised in. And right out of high school, I actually worked in the mills here for about 6 years. And then I decided I wanted to go into the ministry, and that took me to Kansas City and then West Des Moines. And then in 2019, I moved back to Fort Dodge and just came back here, wanted to make a difference in this community. And so the school board has been a great opportunity for that.
And that you have. Thank you, guys. So, first question of the day for our listeners and from our board members. What do you enjoy most about being on the school board? Now, there's some highs and lows about being a school board member. I think everybody can I don't think we want to relive the COVID days of being a school board member. That was really, really tough for a lot of reasons. But what do you enjoy most about being a school board member? And what do you see as your primary role as a board member? And we'll start with Dan.
Yeah, what I enjoy most is the kids. It's the best part of the school board meetings when the kids come in and just looking at their accomplishments and just being a voice for them brings me joy. And I think the most important thing about being on the school board is really to protect the kids, make sure they have the best education possible, and to support the staff.
Yeah.
I agree with a lot of what Dan said, so I'll add to that instead of repeating, but I am always energized by the passion of our educators. When they get up and give us a presentation about what's happening in their schools, they light up. They light up when they talk about the teachers in their building, and they light up when they talk about the students in their building. And you can tell that those educators in our district are working hard every day to give Dodgers a world-class experience. Yeah. I see my role as a board member as really just supporting not only what the administration is doing, but what the teachers and the students are doing. And we're there to sort of listen to what you guys are doing and vote yes or no, and really just kind of just listen and let you guys lead, and then ask questions. If something feels a little bit off or we don't quite understand something, we definitely ask questions, but really it's a support role for the administrators who do all of the heavy lifting in our district.
So speaking of heavy lifting, so we face some challenges at Fort Dodge Schools. As a board member, I probably have a whole list of challenges and a whole list of highlights, but just as a board member, what do you think are one of the toughest challenges that we're facing right now? And Molly, how about you go first this time?
Enrollment seems to come up. There's so many pieces tied to enrollment. When enrollment's down, that affects our funding, that affects the staffing, again, all the headaches or challenges. I shouldn't use the word headaches, but the pieces the puzzle that you have to put together. Right. But of course, we're acutely aware of it too. I also look at our graduation rates and where we stand in the state on some of our reading scores. And of course, we would all like to be number one in the state in every category. Right. But those are areas that I know that you and your staff have identified too, and put time and resources into. So I know we're going to see those things start to improve.
Yep.
Yeah, for me, it's really, I think about wanting to better our reputation in the community. We're doing so many great things. And, I just think about the staff that we have that have come along that are staying with us, and the types of just the curriculum that we have, and just the quality of product that we really have. And so for me, it's one of the things is I feel like I just want to promote what we're doing better, because it's really the education that we are providing is excellent, and it's different. And there's been a lot of good changes in the last few years that we can see numbers trending in the right way. And so for me, it's just really getting that knowledge out there to the community.
And I love that you mentioned turnover, right? So we have staff staying with us, or you talked about staff staying with us. I feel like that's a challenge of the past a little bit. This year, we've saw one of our highest retention rates we've ever had from our first year, second year teachers. We have buildings where we have 5 elementaries, a middle school and a high school. We have 2 buildings that had 0 turnover in their building. Like that's a big deal.
Yeah.
The superintendent has been here for a couple of years. So, those are just things that are good, whether that individual, good, bad, indifferent, or how you feel about them. They are here. They're consistent. You're working with the same people. It's good for our admin. Unfortunately, we're losing Aaron Davidson, and we're losing Jess Kruckenberg at Butler. But those are some of the big ones that you notice. But at the end of the day, like, our actual turnover rate as a staff is as low as it's ever been. And so I really contribute that to our administrators and directors that are working with our teachers and, and our paras and our secretaries and our maintenance staff. So.
And really, that's a reflection on your leadership also as a superintendent. What I've seen on the school board in the last 5 years since I've been there, it's really a lot of turnover with the superintendents. And now we have a superintendent, who is there to stay. You have the passion for the community and for the kids. That's huge to me. So,
yeah. Well, this next question kind of gets me excited. So when I was thinking of questions to ask you guys, when you think of Fort Dodge Schools, what's the first thing that you think of?
All right. This is what I always think about when I think about Fort Dodge Schools. This was my experience back in the 90s and 80s.
Late 90s.
And it's my
late
children's
90s.
experience now. So my son started in the Waukee district. Okay. So when you think about shiny and bright and new and the opposite of Fort Dodge, it's Waukee, right?
Yep.
But it's not better. Waukee's not better. It's just different.
Yep.
My take on Fort Dodge is we don't have the shiniest always. We don't have the brightest. We don't have the most. But in everything you want to do, there is somebody you can find. There is an outstanding coach. There is an outstanding administrator. We've got outstanding people. We don't have 25 of everything. We don't have the newest. But if you want a world-class education, it's there. You might have to go get it. It may not be handed to you on a silver platter, but it's there. If you're motivated and you're driven, you can go find those people. And there's so many great mentors and so many great people that you can seek them out in the Fort Dodge district.
Yeah, for me, and this is a little different answer, but literally it's my experience in the Fort Dodge school system. So when I think about that, I take pride in that. There's some sentimental value with that. And so it's just being a Dodger and what that encompasses. And so I don't know, that's what comes to my mind. I just think about my experience in the school. And again, like Molly said, wanting this next generation to have an even better experience. And I think that's what we're doing. So.
Yeah, and I just piggybacking off of you guys, it's the people. You're talking about the people, but there's just a huge sense of pride, our staff and our students. And so I get super excited when I get to walk around buildings. I don't always get to do that. Sometimes I do more often than not, but like I get excited about those relationships and the people we talk to. And I mean, and just look, the three people that are sitting here right now, all grew up here, all graduated from here, left for a little bit, came back. My wife was not from here. She was not born here, and she absolutely loves Fort Dodge. And she was a little bit hesitant at first. Like
Understandable.
She will admit, but she's what, we're on year 4 here, and she's like, hey, don't mess this up. We're never leaving. You might leave, but we're not leaving. My kids love it, and my wife loves it here. So there's just a huge sense of pride, and maybe other communities have it. But good luck. I just don't know if I don't know if it runs as deep as it does in Fort Dodge a lot of times. So you talked about bright, shiny, and new. So we've talked about this a lot. We always don't. We get compared a lot to a lot bigger districts and districts that have large populations, higher taxations. They're able to build nice, shiny objects over and over and over again at a rate that it's not even fair to compare us and some other districts our size. But we do have a bright, new, shiny object.
Yes, we do.
So Thursday, we did a ribbon cutting for Dodger Stadium. You two have been able to see Dodger Stadium. We just finished it. So, and you were at the ribbon cutting. So I just wanted to get, what are your thoughts and what were your first reactions when you got to see the new facility?
I mean, I was blown away. Just excellent quality, what we have. And it makes me excited for our athletes that are going to be able to utilize this facility. They deserve it. Yeah. I think about what the facility was like when we were in football. And, like I said, hopefully this...
Just a few years ago, right?
Yeah, just a few years ago.
A couple of years ago.
And I just think it really, it speaks to, the value that we have for our students. They deserve to have a nice facility. So, yeah.
I think the architects did a great job of keeping that historic Dodger Stadium that was built in 1940, 1941, somewhere around. I mean, you don't miss that. The brick is there, the old feel, which I love. Everything doesn't need to be shiny and new to be amazing. Right. There is something about that stadium, and I'm a little bit biased, but I think it's the most beautiful in the state, maybe the country. I'm just saying. But there is a new modern aspect to it. There's a video board. That concession stand is going to be beautiful. It married both the new and the old. And when you walk up to that stadium, I'm just thinking about the athletes. Yes. What about graduation? Yeah. Think of all of the people that have grandma and grandpa come in from out of town, aunts and uncles that and they're going to come to our stadium and they're going to see this nice new awning or facade or whatever the architectural term is for that big, beautiful Dodger sign. And they're going to feel good about seeing that. And the kids that are graduating are going to feel good about bringing people into their stadium for that event.
So on Thursday, we probably had 50 to 60 people during the ribbon cutting, probably a couple hundred from then on out throughout the day. We just kind of left it open, had we invited staff from St. Ed's Iowa Central in our district to come in. And then after that, we had a community opening. And one thing that I heard when Eric Pratt asked me, he's like, what was like the message you heard a lot? And they're like, wow, like you don't have to live in the Des Moines area to have something really nice. And so I had an opportunity to leave here for a little bit. And I think one of our goals was to show people that we can have really nice things. Kids will take care of things when they're really nice. You go around to our other buildings, like our middle school, the ECC, Duncombe Elementary. Butler's not really even new anymore, but they're still really, really nice buildings. And so I think it's a great opportunity to show us that, the Fort Dodge community and our school district really do deserve and have worked really hard for this. And I think these things are possible anywhere. You don't have to leave Fort Dodge to go have something nice, new, and shiny. So on November 4th, we have a bond referendum coming up. So speaking of nice, shiny, and new objects and things like that. So really important for our district. Our high school is in desperate needs of a remodel. Our high school is 60, 70 years old.
1958.
1958. So about 70 some years old. There's been a couple small projects done on the high school. We've obviously released to the public, and we have all the petition signatures, and we solidified that last night as well. So we'll have a resolution on their June 9th meeting to take it to vote for on November 4th. But what is something that you really think or would really like the community to know about that referendum project in November that's going to be on the ballot?
Again, it goes back to our staff and our students. Our staff and students deserve to have a nice building. I mean, I just think about some of the going into the school, and some of it hasn't changed since my parents were there,
Yeah.
And it's like, what's the message there? If we value education and we value the future, these kids deserve to have a nice facility. That's the bottom line. And I think the community should be in full support of it. So that's really my heart behind it.
I am as nostalgic as they come. I have great memories inside the halls of FDSH.
Yep.
But things that I'm not nostalgic about are poor lighting, electrical that doesn't meet the needs of 2025 learning experiences. I'm not nostalgic about lockers that aren't being used. By the way, kids don't use lockers anymore. You can have an opinion about it, but when you have a high schooler who goes to high school, they don't need a locker. Guess what? They don't use textbooks as much anymore. That's why they don't need lockers. We go to our lockers to get our textbooks and of course do all our socializing because, you didn't have a phone to socialize. So that was like, they don't use them anymore. So why are they there? What could we do with that space that would be better for the kind of learning environment we have right now? I'm nostalgic about Dodger pride, but I'm not nostalgic about things that aren't serving our children anymore. And this bond referendum and voting yes to keep your level of taxes at where they are right now, it is a vote for education. It's a vote for our high school. It's a vote for the kids who are going to be there for 4 years and are going to get a great education because the people inside of there, they're evolving with the times. We need our school to evolve as well.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you both for that. And probably the one thing I would add to it is I really feel like it touches every area. So anybody that I would ever have any questions, it addresses our issues with some fine arts facilities. It addresses some athletic issues with the weight room. It addresses the most important thing we do, which is teach kids, right? And so I believe when we're recruiting teachers and we're recruiting students, if families are coming to our school or community and they're trying to decide if this is where they want to live or take a job, it would be amazing to be able to walk them through a renovated high school that looks like it could be anywhere or looks and feels just like a good place for learning to take place and happen. Now, good learning is taking place and we're really working really hard, but man, proper seating, some lighting, some heating and cooling will go a really long ways to help support our district and our families and our community.
I mean, I'm not mad about a new weight room either. I mean, the one we have, it's like anything. It's not bright and shiny. They make it work, but a little bit more space, some newer equipment. Those student athletes will really benefit from that.
Yeah, it's just interesting, like you were saying, the nostalgia, and like the sentiment about you walking into the high school. You get backflashes, and but it's 30 years ago, we were in the high school and nothing has changed in some areas, and it really needs attention. And again, just to reiterate, our students and staff, they deserve to be in a quality building.
So as we wrap up a little bit, any final thoughts from our board members today on serving our school, our community?
I would just say, again, what we are doing right now, the changes that we've been making, the quality of education, the new curriculum, the staff that we have, our building leaders, it's really something new is happening, and we're going in the right direction. So
something to be really proud of.
It's an honor to serve on the Fort Dodge Community School District with both of you and the entire board and the administration. And all I do is learn. I learn every time I sit up there. I couldn't imagine what teachers do across the classrooms. I've never done it. I don't have any ideas about how to do it best. I would never tell a teacher how to lead a classroom, but my goal is to support what they're doing, lean on administration who does know how education works, and just continue to learn about the district that I care so much about.
Yep. So kind of to wrap up, we have graduation on Saturday at 7:30 at Dodger Stadium. So everybody will get to see the new facility. We'll have that going on. Spring sports we're right in the mix, right? We had our first home softball game last night. They honored Aaron Miller, former assistant principal, softball coach who had passed away back in February. His family, his mom threw out the first pitch. It was really a celebration, and it was really awesome. So, and baseball's had a couple home games already. So we are just in the heat of things. It's just one of those things that never stops, right? Track happened. We had state track right before state track. We had baseball, softball right afterwards. So we just kind of keep rolling. I think we've pretty much wrapped up all of our fall concerts and our spring musical.
So it was the 99th, right? So will the 100th be next year?
No, I think it was the 98th.
98th. Okay, I've got the
90,
so it was the 98th musical put on full production, put on by high school. And this streak is one of the longest in the country.
By far. The 100th is going to be a big deal.
We are already thinking about the 100th, but the 99th I know will be amazing too.
Yeah, yes. Oh yeah. It's such a great production. So their staff do a really good job. So thank you for joining us on today's podcast, our first podcast that we've done as a Fort Dodge Schools. Our next podcast, I believe, will be on June 10th, 11th, somewhere in that area. We will have some students. So we have selected about 3 or 4 students, a couple in fine arts, a couple in athletics, to come represent the Fort Dodge school system, just to kind of talk about the activities they're involved in, what they love about the high school, and maybe share some of their favorite stories and maybe some of their concerns as well. So we know we're not perfect, so we're always looking to get feedback and get better. So thanks for joining us today. If you follow, share, you can follow us on social media. We have Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all those things anymore. You can go to our webpage. Our actual webpage is FDCSD.org. Click on activities. You can see a whole list of all of our events that are going on, from musicals to concerts to athletic events. And then give us a follow and give us a share. And thanks for listening.
Go Dodgers.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for listening to the Dodger Download, your source for all things Fort Dodge schools. Be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode, and share with your friends, family, and fellow Dodgers. For more update and resources, visit us at fdschools.org or follow the Fort Dodge Community School District on social media. Until next time, keep showing that Dodger pride. This podcast is produced by Spin Market and Digital. Located in Fort Dodge, Iowa, Spin Market's highly skilled team can help you increase your market by updating your website, improving SEO, designing advertisements, and producing podcasts that will grab the attention of your market. Contact Spin Market today for all your digital marketing needs at digitalagent@spinmarket.com or call us at 515-302-8026. And to learn more, visit our website at www.spinmarket.com. spinmarketwith2ks.com. That's digital agent at spinmarketwith2ks.com or 515-302-8026. Or visit our website at www.spinmarketwith2ks.com.